Hi, in this video I'm going to demonstrate how to set up multiple monitors for your Dell Precision 7740 laptop. I will first show you how to set up your monitors with the laptop by itself, and then I'll show you using the WD-19 dock. Now, this particular laptop comes with 3 different platforms of graphic options. When you buy it, you can choose the Intel UHD graphics 630, or you can choose the NVIDIA or the AMD option. I'll quickly show you the specs of those, and then I'll go and show you what this particular one has and how to get your multi-monitors working. Alright, quickly looking at the specifications. This is the 7740 model. When you are buying this laptop, you can choose your processor and you can also choose your graphics option. You can see there is the Intel graphics, the 630, then you can choose the Radeon Pro WX 7130 or the 3200 or the NVIDIA platform RTX, and it actually goes up to the 5000. Now, since this video is about multi-monitor display, I'm going to only focus on that. So here are the available options for graphics on your laptop. So you can choose between the UHD graphics, the Radeon Pro, and then the NVIDIA platform, and maybe you want the WX 7130. Now, the reason why I'm focusing on the WX 7130 is that is the one that I'm going to be doing the demonstration with, and the reason why I chose the Radeon is firstly because it is cheaper, and secondly because of the multi-monitor support. Now, NVIDIA have come to the party of recent with their NVIDIA Mosaic and their NVIDIA NView. Right, just having a look at the NVIDIA side, here is the top of the range that you can get for that laptop. You can see this is called the RTX 5000, and here you can see the maximum simultaneous displays. These are all via DisplayPort, and there you can see it says 4 displays at 120 hertz. Look at that resolution, and you can even go higher, but then you're at 60 hertz. And look at that, 2 by 7680 by 4320 at 60 hertz. All right, so the purpose of this video is to show you how to connect this up. So I'm just showing you the NVIDIA because I'm not going to spend much more time on that because I'm using the AMD platform. And here we're at the Radeon Pro WX 7100, and what you'll see is it's much lower in the memory size. The top of the range NVIDIA for this laptop is 16 gigs, but if you have a look at the multi-monitor display, you can see it says they're also 4 times DisplayPort at 1.4. Now it says HDMI none, but that does not mean it's not compatible. It just means that those ports are not on the discrete graphics card. Now, the one in the laptop's a little bit different. It doesn't look like this. Right, something I'd like to bring your attention to, and this is where it gets a bit tricky, especially when you're looking on the internet for specs and things like that. It says the Radeon Pro WX 7100. Now, yes, the graphics card that comes in the 7740 Precision is part of the WX 7100 family, but be careful of looking at only these specs, because if you look at the board specification, you'll see that the total dissipated power is 130 watts, which is pretty high. Now, if you have a look at even some websites, they've got there the correct title, WX 7130 mobile. There's the specs, and then here is the power. And I'm not sure where they got this total dissipated power 130. Did they just copy this from this side over here, or did they locate the correct page, which is the Radeon Pro WX 7100 mobile? Not as easy to find, and this is the point, is that when it's in the laptop, it's slightly different. If you open up the laptop, the card looks different. So there it says total dissipated power, obviously designed for a laptop running on battery and obviously a mobile device. They've obviously put some attention there in terms of how the power is dissipated, 100 watts. So just be aware of that, and especially when you are getting your drivers, try and locate the exact driver for your particular model. And this is why it's in brackets and says mobile, and so forth. So just be aware of that. I first want to just show you the specifications that come with the Dell 7740. Here are the list of maximum resolutions that the laptop is said to achieve. Now, if you look at the Intel graphics, the UHD, now why this is important is that is the native graphics with the i9. Now, if you have a look at the i9 graphic specs, you will see that it also can do multi-monitor support, but only 3 monitors. There we go. Number of displays, 3. Now I've tested that and it can only give the 3 monitors. Now if you're having a look at the max resolution, you can see it is much less than that NVIDIA, still giving you the 4K at 60 Hertz. and then also in the display port. But look, when it's on the HDMI, you're not getting that full 60 hertz. And I know this is a bit of a contentious issue because some people are reporting that they are getting that 60 hertz, and I do have a video discussing that. Right, moving on. Here you have multiple compatibility, and it's not like the other ones aren't compatible. It's just that those are the formats they mostly stand on in is the display port. But if your device has this port HDMI, it will still work. Now, according to Dell's specification for this laptop, you'll see that if you're using the NVIDIA, it tells you the maximum resolutions you're going to get on the laptop. Now, having a look here, you'll see the HDMI display port and embedded display port. Now, the embedded display port, as I understand, is the display port that connects to the monitor for your laptop. For example, if I'm looking in the service manual, you can see there is the embedded display port cable, which is at the back of this monitor, the actual screen of your laptop, and then it describes how you disassemble that. And remember that when you're choosing your monitor, it does give you the option to choose up to 4K. So that also influences the options that you've got available in terms of how your multiple monitors are set up. If you're already using a certain amount of the bandwidth for your embedded monitor, your embedded display, then you have to consider that. All right, so here we go. There is the NVIDIA. You can see that you can have the following specifications for that one. I've already covered that. All right, moving on to the Radeon Pro. There we see it's the HDMI, the mini display port, the embedded display port, and then it also says here or USB-C. Now this is a multifunctional port which can stream display signals through the USB port. Right here it says single display port 1.4, 8K 30 hertz, dual display port 8K at 60 hertz, and there's your HDMI 2.0 4K at 60 hertz. If you're wondering why a single display port will only give you 30 hertz at 8K while a dual display port will give you the 8K but at 60 hertz, I'm wondering if you use two connectors into a single monitor and they run in parallel. Since I don't have an 8K display, I haven't tested that. It's just a thought. So let's have a look at the laptop. Let's look at the ports. Let's connect it to various monitors, and then I'll show you the dock as well. Right, there is your HDMI port. There is your mini display port. And here is your Thunderbolt type USB-C. You can go from USB-C to display port. You get a special cable. Check the list of manufacturers. Some of these are certified and some are not. What that means when you get a certified cable, it means that they've dealt with the manufacturer of the laptop and they've confirmed that they meet the specifications. Now, after testing the laptop's multiple monitor display, I'll then go through to the dock, which is the WD-19, and you can see display port full size, display port full size, HDMI, multifunction port here. You can stream display port here, but it is a toggle, which means you can't have all four of these working at the same time. I think the HDMI and this one are kind of a toggle option. So if you use this one, you won't be able to use this one. If you use this one, you won't be able to use that one. And then you can still use the display port on the laptop while these display ports are running. Right, here is my desktop setup. These are 5 full HD displays. The one in the top right happens to be a 4K display. They are all Dell branded, and I have a variety of different connection options: analog, which is the VGA, the DVI, the display port, and HDMI. Right, so now I'm going to show you the Precision connecting to maximum amount of displays without the use of the dock. So it's just the laptop alone. Now, very important, make sure you have the latest graphics drivers when you are doing your setup. You can update drivers in the device manager, but my advice is to go to the website directly and choose the drivers yourself. And the reason why I say that is because if I auto update, or if I update the drivers from this console for the AMD, it actually chooses the wrong driver. So in some cases, go to the website directly and select your driver, and that is the driver I've chosen if you're interested. Okay, for the laptop alone connections without the dock, there is the HDMI and there is the mini display port connected to my monitors. Okay, so there at the top, that is a 4K display. That is a 4K resolution at 60 hertz. And the display below it, that is just normal 1080p, also 60 hertz. And then the laptop screen itself. And there you can see the display layout. There's the 4K screen, higher resolution, that's why it's bigger, and you can see there's the resolution. All right, so it works fine. There's no problems here, but something I need to tell you is this is when the AMD Radeon graphics are enabled. Now, if I disable these, the UHD graphics, it has no impact. The AMD Radeon graphics can handle the screens and actually works fine. It's very clever. It knows what to do. You plug in the monitor, you unplug it, you plug in the 4K monitor, you unplug it. It finds where it must be and it works perfectly. Now, why I'm bringing that to your attention is because one should not have different graphic card drivers on the same machine. For example, on this machine, I have the drivers for the Intel as well as the AMD. So my advice is pick one. There sometimes are conflicts, and what I've noticed is that the AMD driver installed does block some of the Intel features. So even though I might enable this, there we go, it's enabled. If I disable this, that is not enough. I need to go and uninstall all the AMD drivers. So be very careful. Once you decide what graphics platform you're going to use, my advice is remove the drivers from the other one. See here in the corner here, you will see even though the AMD graphics card is disabled, there sits the AMD Radeon settings. Remove it if you're going to be using the Intel. And if you're not going to be using the Intel, then my advice is remove the Intel drivers. But that is up to you. I'm just showing you the challenges I've had. Now with the Intel drivers, I find it is not as good as the AMD. For example, now you can see it's just the Intel. I can restart the computer several times, spend over 45 minutes on this, and it is not that easy to get the external displays to work just via the Intel driver. Right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect the dock, and I'm going to show you multi-displays with the dock connected. I'm first going to do it with the Intel as the graphics processor. Right, here are the connections now. There's the full-size display port, the HDMI over there. Now remember that I was using the mini display port for my 4K monitor, so I've just swapped that cable. This is the full-size display port going to that same 4K monitor, and then I have connected the dock via the USB-C ports on the side. Now you can see these two LEDs are on. What that is telling me is that the host, this Precision laptop, can support the flow of data, video, and power. Right now, using the Intel as the main GPU, you can see that it has forgotten the settings. You can see when I open the screen, there it is. So I just have to reorientate this and identify. So it is. Right, so there are your three displays using just the Intel graphics GPU, the UHD 630. There is the laptop display running at 1080p, the second display 1080p, and then the main or the top display at 4K, 60 Hertz. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you the different displays. There you've got display 1 running at 60 Hertz, display 2 they're 59 Hertz 1080p, and the display 3 there it is 59 Hertz at 4K. So that's just using the Intel as the GPU. Now if I add one more display, you will see that it cannot handle a fourth display, and I'll show you that now. So what I've found is another monitor cable, and I'm just going to plug it into the display port slot here on the side because it's got two. Right, so it's plugged in, but no other monitor has come online. But if I close the laptop screen, you will see that that third monitor will come online. There we go. You can see there at the top it's come online. Just showing you that the Intel can only take 3 displays. So even though it's DisplayPort, and even though DisplayPort has the ability to share bandwidth and even daisy chain it, you can see that the Intel is not allowing that to happen. All right, so that's the limitation there. Now when I open the laptop screen, you'll see that the laptop will come back on, and one of the other monitors will actually be switched off. There we go, it goes back to that original setup, just with those two and the laptop. So I'm not going to do any further testing here. I just showed you how to connect up the multiple displays. One of the little bugs I've had is I've unplugged the dock, and that setting of the discrete graphics controller is off, so the Intel should be working. and I've plugged in an HDMI at the back there, and it doesn't seem to come up. Now I know it would work, and I'm just going to put it down to I have not found the right way, or I've muddled something. But overall, I did find the Intel graphics quite annoying when it came to just the laptop as a standalone unit without the dock. But with the dock, the Intel graphics worked quite well. I'm now going to move to the next platform, the AMD WX7130. Okay, now I'm going to be using the dock to power up all the displays, and I'm going to be using the AMD, use the Intel, and I'm going to just disable it. I'm going to enable the AMD, and I'm going to disable the Intel. And what I'm also going to do is I'm actually going to remove the Intel driver. So there we go. I'm going to uninstall the device, that graphics controller. So it's almost like this laptop does not have the Intel UHD anymore. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to restart. Right, now you can immediately see that it is working, and it's got a display there which I can also enable, and it says disconnect display. I'm going to just say extend to this display. And even though I enabled that display, all that happened is that display came online. There it is, but another one went offline. You see that 4K one at the top there's gone offline. Here it shows there 4 displays, including the monitor display, but it won't allow me. If I extend the display, all it does is shuts off another display. So what I have to do now is I have to go into the BIOS and quickly just select that option for the discrete connection. Otherwise you won't get your number 4, 5, and 6 monitors to display. So go do that now. You just restart and press F2 while it's booting. Right, you press F2, you go to video, and then it says switchable graphics, and then it says discrete graphics controller direct output. Now what you need to do is you need to enable this. In default mode it is disabled, and what I found is when it is disabled I cannot get more than 3 monitors displaying. So when I enable it, it allows me to have my more than 3 monitors. So now I'll just say okay, and now I'll be able to get those 4, 5, and possibly even screen number 6 to activate. And if you're wondering if this is the reason why the Intel wouldn't play more than 3 monitors, no, it's not, because even when it was enabled or disabled, it still gave the same response of only 3 monitors. I tried it. Remember, that setting is for the AMD and NVIDIA as the kind of standalone graphics, not an embedded graphics. All right, so it's booted. I haven't made any other changes to the system, and let's see if it just works itself out. Now you can see only 3 monitors are on, including the laptop screen, but if I extend the display, it should work. And there you can see that 4th monitor came on. Without that option in the BIOS, it will not come on. Now you can see immediately I have 4 monitors now online, and all I have to do is put them in the right order. Right, for your 3 and 4 screen setup, you can either decide, are you using the laptop screen plus 2 additional, or are you going to be using just 3 additional monitors and close the laptop screen. So when you're going from 3 to 4 monitors, I'll just show you the setup. You can do it like this. There's monitor 1, 2, and 3, DisplayPort, HDMI. You could also do DisplayPort, USB-C over there, which is a multi-function port. So there's your 3 monitors, and that means with or without the laptop screen. You can see I've closed the laptop screen. I've still got 3 monitors online there. And then if you just wanted the 3, you could open the screen and just unplug one of those other 3 cables, either the DisplayPort or the DisplayPort or the HDMI. If you only had 2 additional monitors, you would just have either your DisplayPort or your HDMI. Now just keep in mind, just because it says DisplayPort doesn't mean you're forced to use a DisplayPort monitor. Here is a DisplayPort to DVI or HDMI. So you can also get these active, and I say active, this is a certified cable, and it provides the DisplayPort to whatever you want. You can also go from DisplayPort to VGA. And one of the reasons why you use this is it is compatible with something called an MST hub. All right, now if you wanted to, you could do a different layout, which I don't know why you would, but let's just say you wanted to take that HDMI out. So you've got two, but you wanted to use the HDMI that's at the back of your laptop. You can also do that, it will work. There at the back of the laptop, I have an HDMI port. I've just plugged it in and you'll see the monitor coming on now. So there are the three monitors, DisplayPort, HDMI connected to the laptop, and then the laptop screen obviously still works, so that would be your fourth screen. Now you also can use the mini DisplayPort at the back of the laptop, so you could take the HDMI out and you could put the mini DisplayPort. So now all the monitors are connected via DisplayPort. So you got mini DisplayPort, and then here on the dock, full-size DisplayPort, and that all works as well. Now, at times when you are unplugging and plugging in the different DisplayPort, especially when you plug in the one at the back and two on the dock, you might find that it freezes up and you have to reboot the system. Once you are happy with your configuration, save the settings, then you don't have this problem. But plugging in and out does lead to instability. So you've got to just find your happy medium, what the amount of monitors you're happy with, and then it will remember those settings. All right, and there is the three monitors connected only via DisplayPort, two on the dock, one at the back of the laptop itself. It did require a reboot. It does sometimes get corrupted when you're plugging in and out, but there you go. So that is one option you could use if you were interested. Right, so the next step is to get the fifth monitor online. All right, now your 4 and 5 screen combination, 4 additional plus the laptop screen is 5, and I'll just show you how I've connected that. Monitor 1, 2, 3. So DisplayPort, HDMI. Then on the laptop, just the DisplayPort. Now you could also do just the HDMI. It's up to you. So you could have just the HDMI, pull out the DisplayPort. That would be your fifth monitor. Or you could do just the HDMI, no DisplayPort. All right. And if you want to hit that sixth monitor, well, they just plug that in and there it comes on. Okay. So there's the sixth monitor, 5 externals plus 1 laptop screen. Okay, now going into the final stretch. This is the 6 monitor setup. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus the Dell laptop screen itself. So you've got 6 screens. Does it work? Yes, it works fine. I've been using it for the last couple of minutes. I'm very familiar with using the Dell Precision with multiple screens. I have some videos from a few years back when I used the M6700. That for me was the best one. And I used to run it standard with 6 screens all the time. And I ran it like that for over a year. Right, on the dock side, DisplayPort, HDMI. So you've got 3 monitors there. There is this USB-C. I suppose you could use that. I unfortunately don't have that cable. So you could go 1, 2, 3. I don't think you can have both of these at the same time. The manual says that it toggles. So if you put one there, you might find this goes off. Now, to get monitor 4 and 5, there it's connected at the back, the HDMI and the mini DisplayPort, plus the laptop screen itself, and now you've hit that 6th screen. However, if you don't want to use the laptop screen but you want 6 additional displays, I have not solved that yet. What I was hoping would work would be an MST hub. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Here is a little hub. You can connect 3 display ports here, and it goes from 1 to 3. It is not a replicator, meaning what it doesn't just duplicate the displays. What it's supposed to do is when you plug this in, it signals 1 independent monitor, 2 independent monitors, 3 independent monitors. Occasionally you just have to reset it to resync all the monitors, but unfortunately this is not working with this dock. So unfortunately it's not able to send the signal through to this. When I do unplug this and put the little hub in here, it doesn't work. I'm not sure if it's just because this is an old model, but I would have to contact Dell. None of this is in the manual. It doesn't say anything about master slave MST hubs, and it doesn't tell you anything about adding one of these. Now the next thing you might ask is what happens if you've got a monitor that can daisy chain. For example, over here I have a monitor that you can put DisplayPort in, and there's DisplayPort out. What it does is it allows the monitor to also be a hub, allowing you to daisy chain from one screen to the next. Unfortunately, that also did not work. If you look over here on the monitor, you can actually set this, and it didn't work. You can just have it in the off mode. doesn't work. Now the next question would be, what happens if you connected the hub over here? Now on the older Dells you could do that because it had a full-size display port, and that is how I got monitor number 5 and 6, with one of these connected directly to the laptop. Now unfortunately this is a mini display port and my hub is a full-size display port, so what I'd have to do is get one with a mini display port cable, or just convert this to mini display port and then test it. It might still work. I can't say as yet. I'll still have to try. There's a chance that by connecting a hub to that port, you might be able to get 1, 2, 3 monitors here. Right, so this is still very preliminary, and I apologize that I cannot make any comments in terms of reliability and the performance. I will now use this with a 5-monitor setup. I usually use 5 monitors. I don't usually use the laptop screen itself, so I'll close the lid and I will use it for the next few weeks. I will do my video editing and various other media work, and then I'll do another video reporting back of how good this Precision is with the AMD 7130 graphics card. And lastly, this is one of the bugs I kept encountering with the display dock. Quite interesting how it actually tells me that the Dell dock is only supplying 130 watts. It says there you've attached an undersized 130 watt power adapter to your system, and you need your 210 Dell power supply. So that's quite interesting because plugged into the dock is the 240 power supply. Here it is. This is the full 240 power supply plugged into the dock. So the question is does the laptop still have to have its own power source even though you've got it connected to the dock? And to answer that question, preliminary result is yes. So that means I've got the 240 plug, 240 power supply into the back of the laptop, and plus a power supply into the dock. So for me, that's a little bit annoying because why should I have 2 power supplies? The dock should be providing enough power to the laptop. I'm not sure if it's just a BIOS thing. Maybe this is still pretty new, but in my old Dell Precision, you would plug into the dock and the dock would be able to charge the laptop at the full power supply rating. So my question is, maybe the dock is a bit limited in how it powers up the laptop from that 240 watt power supply. All right, so that brings me to the end of this very long video. Thanks for watching.